The best way I used to describe the city of Lowell was really in shades of gray. It was just sort of a depressed city, a lot of boarded up buildings, certainly in the early 70s. In the 60s, it was a little bit more vibrant, perhaps, but still, it was a city certainly that was having its troubles. By the 70s, as I say, there were boarded up buildings. There were mills that were, burnt out, closed. The highest unemployment rate in the country, I believe, at that time, and it was a tough time for the city.
Over 20 years. How would you describe Lowell now?
Well, I think it still has its challenges. Another way that I've talked about Lowell is really that it sort of takes two steps forward, one step back. I think Lowell has gone through these various stages, and it finds itself now trying to take it to the next step. How do we get people to come live here and work here? We need to create jobs. We certainly value the neighborhoods that we have. We value the people that live here. We want to keep, again, celebrate the diversity, keep the diversity in the community, remain an affordable place to live. But at the same time, let's bring new people here, new investment that will bolster the economy of the city. But there's no doubt about it too, though. I think it's important to point out that certainly there are other communities like Lowell that cities have fallen on some tough times as manufacturing jobs have left the country. It isn't that they've necessarily left Lowell; they've left the country in many cases, and it's made it more difficult for people to find jobs, find employment. I also don't think that people are necessarily just going to work in the city in which they live. The economic problems that the city is facing are really more of a state issue or national issue that we need to find and create jobs in the Lowell area. And certainly we're trying to do our part here in the city.
Lowell's been undergoing this evolution for almost 30 years now. Right. So it's, the cosmetic work, the stuff that's going to catch people's attention pretty much immediately has been done. And so you're kind of in a brand new phase of what it means to revitalize the city.
Right. Back in the 70s, it was basically saving a mill building, converting a mill building. That was important for the city in its image. Now the job gets a little bit more, in some respects, gets easier because we're no longer dealing with the blighted conditions throughout much of the city. But it's more difficult because now you're getting beyond just the bricks and mortar. And you're building up, and it's happening at simultaneous to the changes in the national economy or the worldwide economy of what we should be doing here. And
so, since this has been going on for 30 years, one of the things that this Globe article made it sound like is that the Lowell Renaissance is over.
Again, I think that, I don't know if, I disagree. I don't think the Lowell Renaissance is over. It's just entering into a new chapter, really. Technology is vastly different than it was 30 years ago. So all of that combined with now getting into the more, inner workings of the local economy make it more challenging, certainly, for us. And not quite as dramatic a difference, perhaps, but obviously very important for the city's future.